Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, April 19th, 8:34 a.m. Let's get started by looking at the news today. It is Wednesday, which means we are going to have crude. Although, wait a minute. Yeah, there we go. Crude oil at 10:30. And that's the only thing on the docket for today that's going to have any effect on us. So we're going to, as usual, expect a fairly choppy or slow-moving morning on crude. Hopefully, we get some activity on the S&P. Let's take a look at yesterday's trading and overnight and adjust our level. So let's see here. Let's move my overnight low, overnight VPOC, value area low, VPOC, overnight high, and I still need my value area high. There we go. All right. So it looks like an awfully tight range overnight. Let's see what it ended up being. 5308, 5264, about 48 tick range. That seems thin to me. I don't pay that much attention to it, but it just seems when I scrunch this in, it just seems like an awfully limited range. I guess at least as compared to yesterday's range throughout the day. All right, anyhow, let's stretch that back out. So let's take a look here. Where was yesterday's close? Right here. To me, everything seems fairly neutral, maybe net short a little bit, but nothing we're going to use in preparation this morning. Let's bring in our hourly chart. And we did pretty close to what we were expecting to do yesterday. Trade both sides of this gap area. Prior to yesterday's trading, this area here. Oh, hang on. Let's get my pen working. Okay. So prior to yesterday's trading, this area here was empty. So we talked about there being one of the possibilities of kind of bouncing off of the two ends of this area. And we pushed a little beyond. We came and tested a naked VPOC down here. We came and tested just about this previous VPOC and previous VPOC before it up here. But for the most part, we were within that gap range and definitely something that could have been tradable. It wasn't during the time I was trading, so I didn't really get to take all that much advantage of it. But it's more so the idea that we certainly can do our homework and prepare for some of the potential trading setups that we're going to see. And yesterday, I know for sure, I believe for sure, one of the hypotheses we talked about was that. Let's see where we're currently trading. 52.85. And that puts us right here. Okay, so we are opening inside. You know what? Hang on, I have too much information showing here. 54.85. That's about 140 ticks in one way. It's at 52.85. So there's 160 one way, 160 other. This is good. Okay. So we are opening, as of now, inside yesterday's value area, right next to overnight VPOC. So hypo 1 is going to be chopped, testing value area low. I see a low volume node right here in yesterday's profile, right in there. So we're going to see if that potentially holds as resistance and then make a push down towards overnight low. If we can stay below, if we can get below value area low, stay there, get below overnight low, stay there, we're going to look for a move that's going to try to capture a fair amount of this gap of levels. So from here to these previous swings that are coming from here and here. So that's going to be hypo 1. This particular hypo takes us out of the microcomposite that is up here. This is the bottom end of it right there. We see that we have gotten below that yesterday, and we pretty much traded below that and have stayed below that. So we're going to look to see hypo 1 as a further push away from there. Now, hypo 2 is going to be somewhat similar, but the difference is going to be where we might get to first. I'll show you what I mean. So instead of it being a chop test and then stop at this low volume node, we might come all the way up and test these previous swings, overnight high, even value area high, and then ultimately make our turn down to overnight low, fail at value area low, get below overnight low, fail there again, and then start making our way down. That's going to be hypo 2. One thing I do want to just do real quick is let's mark off yesterday's high, low, and pull off any levels that need to get out of here. So this one we've breached in both directions. That's out. This one is out. Okay. This one is out. Will become yesterday's low. And copy paste and make yesterday's high. Okay. Okay. That's hypo 2. Hypo 3 is going to be an open push down into overnight low, maybe down to this swing of yesterday's low, get back above, hold, make our way up into yesterday's VPOC, overnight high, get above that, test value area high, get above that, test yesterday's high. And then we're going to see if we fail there or if we can get above it and hold and look for this type of move towards this swing high, getting us back into the value area above. Oh, not sure what that was. Sorry. Getting us into the value area. So getting above this value area low of the micro composite. That is that would be a nice move, good 150 ticks. That's going to be hypo 3. All right, that's what we got for this morning in crude. Give me 1 second and we'll do the S&P. Okay, and let's get this out of the way. Let's take a look at what happened overnight with the S&P and adjust our levels. So we have value area low. Overnight low. VPOC. I seem to be missing a VPOC, or I probably didn't finish it yesterday. All right, anywho, I'll get that done. missing a value area level, not a VPAC. I'm sorry. There's overnight VPOC, overnight high. So I have overnight high, overnight VPOC, overnight low, value area low, and VPOC, but I don't have value area high. And I'm scrolling over to my other chart just to see if there is another large blue dotted line. There's not, so I'm not sure where that went, but we'll put it back on here. There we go. Hey. Very good. And give me 1 second. Let me save this. Okay. And we are 100%, very close to 100% net long inventory. So that does lend itself to believe that we are going to make an effort to come back and correct that to some extent. We are currently in a gap up. You can see here is yesterday's high, and we are trading above it. We'll have to see where we end up going prior to the open. We have quite a bit of time between now and then, so anything can happen. So let's go to our homework chart, our hourly chart. Shrink it down a little and let's just see what's been happening here. So once again, we had a fairly balanced day, real nice, fairly nice distribution in the volume profile. We do have right at the current overnight low, we do have this low volume node from yesterday, which is interesting. So overnight low, we will definitely be looking at as a line in the sand for us, and that works out well actually. The way these lines work out, and you'll see what I mean in just a second when I do the homework. There are no levels that we've reached that need to get removed yesterday. Again, our outer extremes, this one's kind of in limbo a bit. So I don't think I would have really seen reason for this to turn. Maybe there's something that happened on the chart, on the trigger chart. Remember, we have what's called dynamic levels, and these are levels that form throughout the day, like the low of the day and things like that. And I'll take a look back just to see that because I am curious now. Top side of this, I like very much. We see we got really close to this previous swing level. This, I'm guessing, is a microcomposite VPOC or some type of naked VPOC. Naked VPOC in here. This high really is a nice spot to try to be watching for the potential turn up there. I think I might have actually seen that. Okay, honestly, I can't remember now. All right, let's move our microcomposite over. Make sure VPOC stays where it was, which it did. And let's see where we're currently trading. And we know we're just above yesterday's high, 45.50 is where we are currently trading. Actually, let's mark off yesterday's high and low. Let me get this out of the way for us for a second so we can do that. Low, high. Bring this back. And once again, we are starting at 45.50, and we are in this jumbled mess of levels. You know what? I should let's bring that down a little bit. So that gives us 25 ticks up, about 30 down. Let's just even that out a little bit. Okay, that's good. 45.50 is right here-ish. Okay, there we go. So hypo 1 is going to be a push up towards overnight high, look for failure, turn down to correct some of the inventory that we are currently net long, test overnight VPOC, more importantly, test value area high from yesterday. If value area high can hold or somewhere above it can hold, we are going to be looking for a push up into this microcomposite VPOC here of 53.50. That's going to be where we would expect to test to the upside at this point. If we can break above this 53.50, we are looking to get towards the value area high of this micro composite right here of 23.60. So that's going to be hypo 1. Just to point out, so this hypo, because I don't want to end up drawing 30 hypos, this hypo could look like this. It doesn't have to stop at value area high. It could stop at VPOC and turn. But ultimately, if we can get above value area high and hold, we could get above overnight high and hold. This target level and this target level are very, very reasonable. The only reason I show you this is, you know how I sometimes talk about how sometimes hypos can change from one to the other or they get combined. The next hypo I show you is going to be where we test further down and hold this overnight low volume node here, hold that, and then turn back up. That can easily turn into hypo 1. But let me draw that out so you see what I mean. But let me get rid of these. Okay, so that's hypo 1. Hypo 2 is test. Oh, sorry. Let me get the other color, the yellow. Hypo 2 is test overnight high, hold, break down, get into yesterday's value area, ultimately come and test VPOC, value area low, overnight low, which coincides with this low volume node here. That didn't come out so well, so I'll just draw it this way. This low volume node here. See this hold, give us some support, and turn back up. Now, I'm not going to draw this like I drew hypo 1. We're saying in this case that we would end up staying inside yesterday's value area, potentially inside yesterday's range, which is going to be hypo 3 that we ultimately test all the way down to the bottom side of yesterday's range. But I want to point out that you can see this part. Sorry, I got to do that again. That was horrible. You can see this part of hypo 2, then this part of hypo 2, then it turns into hypo 1 with a break above, hold, and then push towards VPOC, value area high of the microcomposite. So I just want to point out that they can work together. Okay, so that's hypo 2 for now. All right, hypo 3. Open, test, might even test further up, might test all the way to in the microcomposite VPOC, push down, ultimately get back into yesterday's value area. Let's get a little bit of chop here, and then test all the way down to yesterday's low. Okay, this would be a bit of an extreme range, in my opinion, for the way things have been going. You know, we can see if I look at yesterday's range, it's here to here. I've extended this by going to the upside by at least, looks like 7 or 8 ticks. So this would be hypo 3, and that is all we're going to do. Oop, it's a big 3 for this morning in the S&P. Okay, sorry, there's that noise in the background. It's killing me. Oh my. Okay. So let's get this chart out of the way. And let me see what time it is. $8:53. All right, I'm going to pause it for a little bit so if ultimately you watch the video, you're not just sitting and watching silence for a little while. I'll be back in a bit. All right, we got about 2 minutes to the open. I just didn't want to forget to turn it back on once I start watching and I get caught up. So I figured I would turn back on the video now. Sorry for the next minute and a half of most likely silence. But I thought like I said, it would be better to have it up and running. Okay, just a couple seconds and here we go. So again, we're opening inside the value area, looking at value area low, which we just tested. We're not really paying attention to that. That was a nice little test there of value area low. Little divergence on the BBs. 610 is nice. 987 is a little, although bullish divergence, not all that strong and all that obvious. Let's see here. Oh, what just happened? That's not what I wanted. Almost. Sorry about that. All right, let's see what's happened so far. Nothing much. Okay. Sorry, I was multitasking there for a second. So remember, we've talked the last few days about when we open inside of the value area of the previous day, how we expect there to be chop at the open, which is exactly what we're seeing right now. Now what we're waiting to see is actually this coming up right here. Let's see who steps in. If buyers step in here at value area low, or if not, or if it just blows right through here. So we're going to start paying attention for potentially a trade here. And there's the blow right through. So what we're looking at now is if we can get through here and stay down here, we're going to watch for a retest of it from the downside. Let's draw this out. If we can, is my pen not working again? Are you effing kidding me? All right, well, I guess I shouldn't complain. It's free. So what I'm saying is, since we had this impulsive move down, if we can trade here a little bit, retest and hold, even if we retest into this previous consolidation back here and hold, we might consider looking for a short that way. So here we're coming back up to it. Now, if we get above it and we hold, and we just start, pretty much bouncing around here, then we really have to wait for a better trade opportunity. But right now, I'm looking at this more as a short opportunity than a long opportunity. The BBs are reading that way. Let's just watch some order flow here for a second. I'm going to take a short here. I'm going to try to take a short here. Okay, I got my fill. So basically, I got my VWAP up here. I have my opening price. I have my 21 EMA. We've come through below value area low. We were testing back above it. I'm going to scale in here. All right, so I'm just scaling on habit. It's part of my entry strategy is scaling into my trades. That I have been testing. So might have jumped into this a little early, meaning, hang on, let me just get my last scale on here. Okay, so we'll take our third position here. Okay. So might have jumped the gun here a little early. Well, right now I can say I surely have, but what I'm getting at is really with coming back up right above value area low that quickly, really should have waited for this to develop into a shorting opportunity, not just make the assumption that we're going to come back down below value area low. So jumped in a little bit too soon, regardless of where it goes. Could have been holding off here. In fact, really at this point, I'd be looking for longs, not shorts. So I am definitely interested in potentially, I'd love some type of pullback here, but that would be more luck than anything else. Yeah, I don't see that happening. Buyers are still stepping up here. Sellers are trying to absorb, but I don't think that's going to happen. All right, so at this point, we are watching and properly should be watching for a pullback into a long this Fed trade. Just watching to see if we end up. Definitely not looking for any shorts up here. We're right now we are watching for pullbacks into this area of consolidation, possibly even all the way down to value area low, and looking for opportunities to get long there. Oh, excuse me. That actually really was. This was a good trade opportunity. Come below value area low, quickly come back above it. That's a decent long opportunity right there. Bad trade on my part, but that's actually, if I remember right, 2 or 3 days in a row now we've seen this type of activity One time it was from the top side, and I think it was also a value area high or maybe an overnight high. And then I believe we saw this to the bottom side yesterday, the same type of thing. So right now we kind of have to let something develop. If it develops, and if it doesn't, so be it. So still prices holding up here now towards high of day. Let's see if we can't get a bit of a flush down. Continuing to test higher. Buyers keep stepping up here. You know, it's one thing for the sellers to absorb, but it's another for the buyers to continue to step up as prices moving higher and refresh their bids. Looks like sellers are holding that off. Oh, there they go again. Sellers refreshed one more time. So sellers have been absorbing at the top. Now the question is, will they be able to step down, and are there any buyers looking to hold price up? I'd like it not to be the case. I'd like price to come down, give me a nice opportunity to get long at a better price point, but slightly against my normal trading style. I'm watching here for a long, really watching to see if the buyers continue to hold this price. They have been the more aggressive ones right now, at least to my understanding. See, buyers just refreshed there again. You know, I'm going to take a long, but it's going to be a ludicrously tight stop. I want to see something here. So this is where sellers were refreshing, but buyers were generally putting more pressure on than sellers were up until that second. This is where buyers were refreshing, but that last little step we just saw where sellers stepped in and pushed down, you know, 2 or 3 ticks so quickly, hadn't seen that yet. See, buyers stepped up again here. Now, I don't want to see the sellers do what they just did, where all of a sudden a couple large offers come in, push price down. I want to see the trading start happening on the offer. I want us to tick up, yeah, start trading that. See, it's not, we're not getting a bunch of buy orders to come in and trade the offer like that. That's what I'm looking for. And if we can get that offer to disappear, what do the buyers do? So they stepped up. Buyers came right up, but this is the area the sellers were refreshing. So, and they just did it again. So let's see. So buyers again are being more aggressive. They're the ones pushing to the top side of the range, and sellers are absorbing up there. But it just feels from the order flow right there again. Buyers are the ones stepping up and stepping in higher and higher, but sellers are stopping it right up here. This is where the sellers have been absorbing on the offer. We need that to break, maybe get a nice little stop run, but there they just held it again. Again, we see buyers stepping up, but when we trade the offer, the sellers are not getting away. They're not lifting their price. They're absorbing whatever trades are happening on the offer. The sellers are absorbing them. And now we just trade a bid for a second, but we need to be trading offer, and we need to see these sellers lift. See again, buyers are coming up, but sellers are not leaving. See again, now we're trading this offer, with the current high of day, but that current high of day has refreshed. Okay, we finally got through it. About 14 minutes to equities open. This trade obviously isn't done yet. The expectation right now is a test of yesterday's VPOC and ultimately potentially a test of yesterday's value area high. But need to see some more pushing here by the buyer. Sellers stepped in pretty well up there. So what we really want to see is where we're at right now, 93. We want to see this hold the bid, just like we saw it hold the offer before. We don't want to see the offer start refreshing up there again. That would certainly not bode well for us. So we really want to see these bids stay firm and let this become the bottom of the next wave of consolidation, if that makes sense. S&P has come off its current overnight high a little bit. We'll see what happens. We still have another 12 minutes to the open there. Remember, because of where we opened inside of the value area, although, we did come down and test the lower end of it where it completely botched that up. It's not surprising, if you remember me saying earlier, and it's Wednesday morning too, and it is Wednesday, so it's not surprising to see a slow stair step up. Not necessarily that we're staying in a tight range, although what do we have? About 20, this is 25 tick range. So not a huge range, but not a horrible one for a Wednesday morning this time. But not surprising to see a slow, choppy style move. Even if it drifts upwards, it's still that slow, choppy, stair-stepping style move. Bids are continuing to firm up here at the 52.91. Bids have held there nicely the few times we've come down here to test it. We need that to stay. And they just did it again. We see they're adding back on size. They just did it one more time. But now, see, this time it's the sellers that appear more aggressive. They're the ones willing to lower their price, come after the bid, start selling it at the bid. And this was the area here, and one tick below was the area that the buyers held when we initially decided to get long. And my intentions in getting long, whereas my expectation was that we would come and test VPOC, which allows me to put in a 10-tick profit target and front run it by 3 ticks, with my stop being only a 4-tick stop. So I have a 10-tick profit target on a 4-tick stop. And I got to be careful not to drive myself too crazy by watching this order flow, Wednesday morning before inventory reports, open inside value area. So sellers are putting pressure here to the downside. Okay. Please keep in mind that is not the normal type of trade for us. But I did want to be in it to kind of get me watching that order flow a little more. Here is what we are looking for. We are looking at a pullback. We're looking for an opportunity to get long. I'd like this pullback to come down a little bit further, but we are looking for an opportunity to get long. Since value area low held, remember our next expectation is that we are going to make our way up to test yesterday's VPOC. So we're looking for a pullback to get into a long entry here. And I don't want to get overly excited by VWAP and 21 EMA because it's only 9 ticks away from the high. So really, for me, I'd like the pullback to come down a little bit further. And sellers are still seem to be the ones more aggressive right now. But again, with order flow, that can change in a split second, which it did right there in a split second. So just kind of got to sit tight. As tempted as I am to look for a long here, it's let's get back into our typical trading style, looking for the entries we look at. As tempted as I am looking for a long here, It's just too close to the current high of day on a Wednesday morning on a day that we opened inside value. Really need to be looking to fade the extreme here, meaning I'm much more interested if we can get into this area, opening range mid, value area low from yesterday, into this consolidation that we had before the open. Whoa, what in the heck? This consolidation range. If we can get somewhere into this area, I'd love to look for a trade there. But until then, just kind of have to hang out. Let's just take a quick glance over here at S&P. We have about 4 minutes to the open. Again, we've come off the overnight high. We are above yesterday's value area high, so we're definitely going to be watching that as an area potentially for support. We're no longer gapped up. We're below yesterday's high of day. So unless something major happens in the next few minutes, we shouldn't be opening with either no gap or a very slight gap. So I'm not looking for a short in oil because remember, we still have the belief that since value area low held, we are at least going to come test up here to VPOC. So I'm not yet looking for this short. Let me scrunch this up a little, find some consolidation area. So we have this consolidation area here from overnight, and a spike right up to where it is we were expecting this to go. So here, this is another one. It's just, so at this point, it's really just a little bit of bad luck. We got stopped out to the tick. We were in, I think we were in at 92, so we'd still be in the trade if we were to have not been stopped out, so we would not yet have a profitable trade. But that trade regardless is outside of my normal scope of trading. So again, watching for pullbacks in oil. As we drift higher and higher, and also as we get closer to the inventory report, we're going to stop watching. But as oil has drifted higher and higher, the pullbacks drift higher and higher. Meaning, here we had one test 21 EMA and then push away from it. So if we get another test 21 EMA, for me, it's just not far enough from the current high day. It's only 10 ticks away. So just not great trading opportunities. Not surprising for a Wednesday morning. We had one good one. I went backwards on it. I completely botched it up down there. That's really the only, in my opinion, that was really the only reasonable trading opportunity so far. I would not have looked at this as a long opportunity down here, just because, like I said, how close we were at the current high a day. And just about a minute till the S&P open. So we have nice negative divergence on the BBs here on the S&P. So we would be looking to short a potential short on a spike up here. So I'm watching for a spike up. I'm going to look to play the reversal of it. All right, I'll take one here. This is a bit of a momentum play, but the ideology is sound. We have negative BBs, negative divergence on the BBs coming up towards overnight high. We will look to scale in if given the opportunity. Maximus, you have to close the door. Oh, I don't know, buddy. You have to close the door, Maximus. Still negative divergence on the BBs on here on the S&P. Okay. So a little bit more strength than I was hoping for here at this on the S&P. I would have liked to have gotten scaled in there. Oil has stayed in this tight range here, this tight consolidation now for, looks like about 5 minutes here. Let's find some profit targets on the S&P. So we have our 2-point profit target here at 44.25, and we are going to come in above value area high. We'll do 42.25. But this overnight high, if we push right back above it, technically still has not held as resistance. We need to come away from it. We need to come away from it and let that hold as resistance for us, because that really was the level that we were shooting for, and we've been able to average in. I would have liked my third contract here, but didn't happen. That again, that's a bit of bad luck. Now at this point, now I don't want that third contract. I don't want to see this come back up here. I really want to see these BBs turn down while price turns down and start making its way back towards yesterday's value area high. And I'm tempted, very tempted actually, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to move my first profit target down above value area high. Okay. I'm going to move my second profit target down to above VPOC from yesterday. I'm extending my profit targets right now. Let's see, and I certainly will be watching as we come down and we get to where I would initially put this. And if it looks like I need to move up my first profit target, I will. And if I'm in front of the screen, I would do the same thing with my second profit target. If I'm not in front of the screen, I'll leave it where it is currently, which is above yesterday's VPOC. But right now, we need to get away from overnight high. We need to push down here in the S&P. Oil is pushing up towards high of day. Let's see what it does here. Breaks high day again, as we were expecting. We're expecting it to ultimately come test VPOC. Still a few ticks away. There you go. One tick off. That's certainly a test. Our idea was valid early, out of our normal trading, no doubt. We would have been better off, and again, for my normal trading, I don't know that I would have taken it. This pullback here, testing the bottom end of this consolidation, this pullback looking for a buy, where in this case we closed out our trade, happened to be to the tick. Again, that's just random luck. But ultimately, we did get our test of VPOC. Now the question is VPOC going to be the end of the move, and are we going to turn back down and come and test value area low? With the report coming out in under an hour, that's going to change everything. That doesn't change the levels that matter. In fact, you'll be surprised how many times even the fast move after the report comes out tends to stop at a level. But that report is going to create instant volatility. And at this point, I'm not necessarily looking for a long as to necessarily come back up and retest VPOC. I'm going to be holding off on that. It would have to set up very, very nicely. S&P is certainly not doing what I was hoping it would do. The BBs are moving down, but price is not. I'm not a huge fan of when BBs get that far ahead of price. They kind of get themselves exhausted. Really need price to start traveling down here. Oil's pulled back 21 EMA again. Now, let's see if we get a push up towards what's currently value area high. I might look to grab a short up there. We have the beginning of potential negative divergence on the BBs. We have a level overnight, yesterday's VPOC, current high of day. We have the dynamic level of current high day and the static level of yesterday's VPOC formed up here as resistance. Let's see if we can't get a nice shape on the BBs for a pullback up and giving us an opportunity to short here on crude. So we had to pull back now towards VWAP. Here on crude oil. S&P is still, the overnight high is still kind of getting in our way here on the S&P. I do like the negative divergence on the BBs, but I'm really not crazy about this price action. Unfortunately, I do have to run a little early today. I got to prepare for a meeting I have. I really want to stay in front of the screen, but unfortunately, it is what it is. So, as always, if you guys have any questions, get in touch. If not, I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Okay, bye now.